which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you really want to become. Everything else is secondary. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the result of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. So that is what the business tip is saying this particular morning. Live a life that you are driving your own self. I would live a business that is focusing on what you want, your aspirations, your goals, your dreams, your desires. And that is it for our business tip. Well, we'll start. Let's now take a look at our business quote of the morning. The business quote is coming in from Bill Gates, who says, "Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning." Bill Gates with that quote of the day. Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So everything that you do and you want to learn something, you should be able to know that your most unhappy customers have all that matters to be your greatest source of learning. So if you want someone as your greatest source of learning, then your customers will surely give you that. Let your customers be your source of learning. Yes, they should be. They can give you that as an advantage. Your customers, they are the most unhappy, but them being unhappy, they are definitely your most advisable source of learning, if we are to put it in that way. All right, now besides that, let's get more into our social media trends. I did mention that the social media over the last 24 hours was rotating around the Bank of Uganda as well, besides President Museveni and besides the footballing kind of situations and conversations going on. Now let's see what the social media users, or what was happening on the timeline. What did the social media users have to say in regards to the Bank of Uganda, or what was being tweeted about the Bank of Uganda? All right, now the New Vision at the New Vision Wire with the tweet. In a statement, Bank of Uganda said, "The public is hereby advised that the Bank of Uganda has issued into circulation banknotes, now in the various denominations that bear the signature of the Deputy Governor Michael Atingi Ego and their print 2022. Details, hashtag Vision Updates." That is what was highlighted by the New Vision's Twitter handle, the New Vision Wire. Now, the Bank of Uganda issues banknotes bearing Atig Ego's signature. That is according to what at the Daily Monitor brought out at the Daily Monitor, with BOU issues banknotes bearing Atig Ego's signature and confirming it. So that is the Twitter handle of the Daily Monitor. Now, the Bank of Uganda with an apology statement. Here is the complete holding statement as the Deputy Governor's signature on Ugandan shilling banknotes. So that was a statement that the Bank of Uganda, or the central bank of the country, revealed yesterday in regards to that signature that is up there. Mujuni Raymond at Kataha Raymond says, "In Uganda, we have our own DSIBs, the domestic systematically important banks. That is Stanbic, Standard Chartered, DFCU, and ABSA. At Bank of Uganda did a good job with the framework that created them to explain why they are important. It is available to read on the Bank of Uganda website." So why the Bank of Uganda website rates those 5 banks highly. The bank, which includes Stanbic, Standard Chartered, DFCU, then there is also ABSA. Is Centenary part of that, or Equity? Okay, you can go into the Bank of Uganda website to have more. Now, the Bank of Uganda was quick to also bring out a fake notice regarding that this fake document is being shared online. Don't be deceived by this misinformed or this misinformation. Always verify the authenticity of any document before believing and sharing it. And that is according to the Anti-Money Laundering and Counterfeiting Financing of Terrorism. That is according to what the Bank of Uganda says, that document was false. Now Ronnie Red Page at Jude Chiriowa says old and new signature on the Bank of Uganda. He took 2 pics of the 1,000 note, one with the governor, the late governor, that is the late Emmanuel Mutebire, whose signature is on top. Then the down one is for the deputy governor, that is Michael Ating Ego, which is currently being used. Now, Princess Diana, 256K last born at Charisima Diana says, who is the current governor of the Bank of Uganda? And with that particular meme, I think we don't have a current, we only have an acting one. Now, lastly, from Smart 24 TV, Smart 24 Television, the Bank of Uganda confirms new money notes with Deputy Governor's signature are legal. Bank of Uganda has confirmed that all banknotes bearing either the signature of the late Governor Mutebire or the Deputy Governor Michael Ating Ego are all legal tenders. Hashtag driving business, hashtag Smart 24 TV. Well, of course, as you can definitely see, I don't know if you've been able to notice that though, but if you've noticed it, know that it is legal tender and it's not printed money. So we currently have 2 signatures, and with time they will be phasing out, and we shall be only having the one of the current governor or the current deputy governor of the Bank of Uganda, Michael Ating Ego, in there. And that one was as of dated last year, 2022. Okay, now let's talk pension. As we discuss regulation of the pension sector. Now, the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, which regulates the issue to do with pension and, of course, retirement benefits, is set to sanction non-compliant retirement benefit schemes. And amongst the sanctions, there is a new policy to ensure transparency and accountability of this one. Now, in this report, in this update rather, we do have Martin Anthony Nsubuga, who's the CEO, Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, and also Honorable Bingira Julius Junjura, who is the chairman UBRA board, giving us more details with regards to the regulations of the pension sector in Uganda. Let's have it.
We've issued new regulations, amendments to the available regulations in order to deal with some of the dynamics and developments that have happened in this sector. Precisely, we are trying to deal with more of those requirements of disclosing details of expenditures and those details of expenses that have never been disclosed before, and also to provide for clarity for some of the actions or the requirements in the law. So some disclosures are going to be there, but we've also provided clarity, particularly on when you are looking at reporting on assets, how the valuation methodology, you've standardized it in order to avoid discrepancies where we've seen in the market where there are varying provisions in the reporting for purposes of assets, and which are subsequently led to distributions of unrealized profits or income, which is not correct. A requirement for all licensed entities, that is retirement benefit schemes and service providers, to always recognize that they are regulated in all their works that they do, particularly when they are running adverts or promoting new products or services. And of course, the final one, we're also introducing sanctions that have not been there, where we are going to more of penalizing non-compliance with a clear process on how we are going to do it. Unlike other institutions who just list sanctions, for us we've detailed the process. We caution you, we sanction you a certain amount, you fail again, we penalize you. So there's a clear sequenced process of how we are going to be intervening. By and large, those are the main things that we've been able to amend in this market. What we are going to see going forward, we are going to see more compliance in terms of the trustees executing their responsibilities, clear knowledge of knowing what they're supposed to do in terms of reporting. We've also set a standard how accountants who are providing service to the schemes, how they are going to be reporting and disclosing these details, and of course harmonizing the valuation of assets in order to provide clarity and to avoid mixing up of members' income. In summer, that's what we've done. Understand what is being a trustee. A trustee is like a board of director, is a service. It's not a job that we're employed to do this every day and therefore require remuneration. But notwithstanding, there has to be certain form of a reward for your effort. But that should be informed on the effort you put in, the size of your scheme, and the quality of work. If it's a scheme of 1 million, as an example, 1 million fund, why would you pay a trustee 200,000? That is almost 20% of the portfolio of the fund. So the idea is that let the remuneration be relative and realistic, and let it reflect the effort that you are putting into the service of the scheme and also the work, the value you are adding. Otherwise, it's not business as usual, where because you are a trustee, you should be remunerated for even doing no work. No, that kind of arrangement should not continue, and that's where we came from. And that's why we've been able to achieve reduction on excesses, reduction of expenditures, wastage, and we've attempted to deal with that. But we also understand that there are certain rewards that should accrue to the member. That could be dealt with in principle, but that should speak to the size of the scheme and the value addition a trustee is adding to the scheme.
As UBRA, we derive our mandate from the law, UBRA Act, which mandates us to provide that supervisory mechanism, license schemes, and make sure the operations are done within the law. The whole effort is to ensure we build trust, especially from the people saving. Currently, there is a very big challenge in this country of attracting people to save. If you look at the statistics we have now, we are still very low in terms of savings. And one other role as a regulator we have is to attract and mobilize Ugandans to do the savings. But you all know that you cannot attract the savings not until the people you are mobilizing are sure of how their monies will be kept. There is need for safety of the savings. And that's why today we had to emphasize a lot in this dialogue with the trustees of different schemes. So for the 65, that purpose of these regulations as amended is meant to build the trust. You know, when you build trust with the people saving, they will come. Make sure their money is safe, they get it when they are due to get it, provide transparency, make sure you're honest, no leakages, people will save.
All right, and of course, that is in regards to the regulation of the pension sector, as new policies are being set to ensure transparency and accountability, especially for the beneficiaries. And we are now joined by Marija Andrew, and of course, to try to analyze a few of the issues to do with Uganda's pension sector, and of course, the retirement benefits that are available for most of those who are still working, and also focusing on retirement in the next few years. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Well, man, it's quite very interesting. When I saw this aspect, I wasn't surprised because I saw it coming. After this overall saga that has been ongoing, which increased people's suspicions towards any sort of a saving scheme. And if you get to realize, since 2011, I mean, Ubra has been really doing quite lots of initiatives to ensure that people's savings increase. And as we speak right now, because I remember in 2011. People's savings were about 4 trillion, estimated at 4 trillion Ugandan shillings, and then come 2022 last year, about 20 trillion. So that's an increase of 16 trillion. Now you see, when you've built something for quite a very long time and you see such prospects coming in, that means you have to do whatever it takes to ensure that you protect it. Otherwise, you can't build. You can't be building something and you put it down. So this is something that is quite, I'll say, very efficient for Ubra to regulate all other saving schemes, because people, of course, like any person, would really want to know how secure is my money, how sure am I that my money is, quite safe. Now, like according to a report here, which says that savings increased from 4 trillion Ugandan shillings in 2011 to 20 trillion as of June 2022. Now, following what happened recently about the NSSF saga, I have a feeling that the Ubra, the regulator, felt like there was need to a little bit of put policies that are a bit strict when it comes to saving schemes, so that people's money is safe. I mean, so that I can put my money right there when I know it's very safe. It's not, nothing's going to happen to it. So I really feel people should actually not really fear. And what Ubra is really doing is a game changer when it comes to the saving industry, because majority of the people in Uganda realize that largely rely on village savings and probably local and boxes, where people keep money in boxes, something which is not really reliable. But sometimes people do that because of the irregularities observed in the saving schemes. The last 2 months, I think it was still this very when we had banks being put on spot over fraud, and all those aspects, when you put them all together, and if banks are onto the fraud, people are seeing even the saving schemes which they put their money are also into fraud scandals. I mean, that causes quite a lot of some sort of fear, for people's money in there. So the regulator, Ubra, really will look through all this and trying to see from 2011 what they have been building, savings increasing from 4 trillion to 20 trillion. So in this way, they had to come out today, these are the days when they had to come out and really put up strict laws. And any person that is found non-compliant to this, there will be, of course, administrative measures will be taken. Penalties, administrative penalties will be taken to ensure that it's all put around. So I really think it's a good move for Ubra, and I would suppose that 3 to 5 years from now, we shall be having quite lots of Ugandans trusting saving schemes, and being in position to save more money, and we shall be having quite enough money for investing.
I don't know, in regards to the fact that we're looking at emphasizing transparency and accountability in the pension sector amongst the respective players, and of course the available saving schemes like you've mentioned. Where's been most of the challenges? Because by the look of things, I think the pension sector is now just in a recovery mode, if I'm to use the right word. Because it's only for the people who are working with, let's say, government entities who are benefiting from pensions.
You're right.
Yes, and looking at that, I think we should also try to push this agenda throughout the people who are working or employed under the private entities.
The private sector entities. And I would really think it should be put into it should become a policy deliberate, because when you make something free, people may not really attribute to it, because the private sector feels like, okay, that's why I have a feeling that 60% of the private sector employees don't have access to saving. I mean, don't have, like, let me say, NSSF saving where they deduct their money to the savings.
Very true.
So if the regulator really puts up a policy, and working together with the responsible stakeholders to how to make this a policy, for every private sector, because government, of course it's a must, but the private sector, there need to be quite more strict measures, because people leave work. You can be fired from work and you have nothing. Anything can happen. You're not sure of your job tomorrow, what's gonna come, and the biggest worry for why most people fear to leave employment is that if I leave this job,
they can't maintain the same lifestyle.
They can't maintain the same lifestyle. And what am I going to? I know there is this pressure that what will I show that I worked here?
Yes.
So all that.
Because especially during your retirement age, people, again, you're going to be calling on to your sons
for money. And
yes,
very true. You see all
then
that.
you're calling, you're calling your friends, asking for favors and everything, and then people are seeing you working for big companies.
And
I think this is something that hits us most. Most probably everyone in the country, is because someone has been living a youthful age and they're having all this lifestyle till they're maybe 50. Now, once they lose that good paying job during the retirement, things become really tough.
That's why people die of stress. That whole, you think too much, and before you know it, you're
not happy. You're not happy. Your mental
your mental health is
not appealing to everything.
Exactly.
Right. I think it is right. It's a right move for Ubra to at least regulate, because they are the regulators, obviously.
Yeah.
And this time around, they're
strict policies,
streamlining the
transparency and accountability, because that has been an issue.
Yes.
Whereby, because we've seen it was the same issue. I mean, you hear things about accountability now comes in with, okay, you have my money, you're saying you're going to give it me back with an interest. I have the right to know where, as the person that puts my money there, I have the right to know where is my money invested, and what are the returns to it. Because if it's hidden from me, that means you could do background deals behind curtains when I don't know anything about my money, and the time comes when I need it and I'm not in position to get it. So that's the overall accountability aspect. Even the money, we the servers need to know what is our money, how, we need to get updates regarding our money that is in there, other than, being shocked at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah. And obviously that is it for business update this morning regarding the pensions, regulating of the pensions and creating the pension sector, creating accountability and giving room for more transparency within the sector for the beneficiaries and of course the stakeholders within different saving schemes, and of course creating a culture for saving for retirement. As we're heading into the break, also remember that you can still save, but through investing. So it's like you're saving for investment. How possible is that? Use the USSD code *292# and save with Zabu, or invest rather with Zabu. It is an opportunity for you to invest in government bonds. It's you're investing, but you're saving for the near future. For example, if you're to invest in government bonds, you can choose a preferred maturity period between 2 to 3 years. You can actually choose 2 to 5. Let's say 9 years, and within that time your money is actually growing, and Zabu is giving you that chance and that particular advantage. Why not take it up? Quickly kickstart of your investment. It's as simple as it gets. *292# is the USSD code. The markets are officially open now, 8:15 a.m. and their closing time is 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. Zabu, my money, my future. Alltex East Africa. Do something new. Well, take it on. Zabu says you can do something new today. After the break though, we'll be talking sports, business matters, and of course the latest from the world of entertainment. Stick around, we've got lots coming up. Good morning.